For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud because we were only making our wages. But why these luxury brands never tell you that? Because they are trying to pretend to be products of some sophisticated
luxury bags carefully handcrafted in China. The viral TikToks from Chinese factory workers, the internet is now in a frenzy over claims that some of the most iconic designer bags are actually born in the East.
What if I told you that the world's most coveted luxury bags, those $20,000 Birkins and Kellys you see on celebrity arms, aren't handcrafted in some Parisian workshop, but rolled off production lines in Chinese factories you've probably never heard of? Yep. The very same factories that produce goods for brands like Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and even IKEA. For decades, luxury giants like Hermès have carefully curated an image of old-world craftsmanship.
A little over 1 square foot of vaqueta leather came out, 2 different finishes. The best vaqueta leathers in the market is $7, $8.
Expert artisans in white coats, precision tools, buttery leather, and a candlelit workbench tucked away in a quiet French village. But as recent whistleblowers and viral exposés reveal, that image is crumbling. Behind the glitz and glamour is a tangled web of offshore production, clever marketing tricks, and a level of deception that's leaving customers around the world furious.
A slowdown and a contraction in the global luxury market. About 50 million people either opted out or were forced out of the luxury market over the past 2 years.
Hermès, in particular, has found itself in panic mode, filing lawsuits against the very factories that helped build its billion-dollar empire, all to keep the truth from spreading. But the internet doesn't forget, and the truth is already out there. The Made in France labels on many luxury bags are more illusion than fact. So today, we're diving deep into the story that's shaking the fashion industry to its core. Buckle up, because once you hear what's really behind that luxury price tag, you may never look at a designer bag the same way again.
I spent over $100,000 of my own money dissecting luxury bags, cutting them open, analyzing every stitch, every layer. Why? Because I had to know what made those bags so expensive.
For years, Hermès has sold the world a fantasy, the idea that every Birkin or Kelly bag is the result of painstaking labor by master artisans in France. The narrative goes something like this. Highly trained craftsmen, many with 4 or more years of specialized training, work meticulously on each bag, hand-stitching, cutting, and assembling with a precision that borders on obsession. We picture them working in small Parisian ateliers, surrounded by fine leathers, soft light, and the quiet hum of craftsmanship. But peel back the curtain, and the reality looks very different. According to insiders and damning receipts from whistleblowers, up to 80% of these so-called French luxury bags are actually manufactured in China. That's right, the cutting, stitching, leatherwork, and assembly happen overseas. The only thing left for France is to add finishing touches, like a stamp or button, before slapping on a Made in France label. This trick allows brands like Hermès to maintain the illusion of European luxury, while leaning heavily on offshore manufacturing to meet global demand. And it's not just 1 or 2 items. We're talking about entire collections, from handbags to shoes to small leather goods, being churned out overseas, often by the same factories that make mid-range or even fast fashion products. Consumers, meanwhile, are left paying sky-high prices under the assumption they're buying something rare, precious, and undeniably French. Enter Tanner Leatherstein, the leather expert and social media sensation who's blowing the lid off the luxury world. Tanner isn't just another TikTok commentator chasing clout. He's a genuine leather craftsman with years of experience and a mission to expose what's really behind those eye-watering price tags. His videos? Brutally honest. He buys designer bags, often spending thousands out of his own pocket, and then takes a box cutter to them, slicing them open on camera, dissecting every stitch, every lining, every piece of hardware. What he's uncovered is shaking the fashion world. Tanner revealed that the materials used in many high-end bags, including the legendary Hermès Birkin, often fall short of the mythical standards we've been led to believe.
You recognize this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been the OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world.
Instead of rare, premium materials, he's found mass-market leather, synthetic linings, and hardware that's barely a step above what you'd find on a $100 dupe. And the kicker? While a Birkin may sell for $14,000, Tanner estimates the cost to actually make one good leather, solid hardware, everything included, lands around $600. That's not a small markup. That's a 20x price jump, all fueled by branding. But Tanner's exposés don't stop at Hermès. He's called out Chanel for swapping real gold-plated hardware for cheaper alternatives, dissected Louis Vuitton bags to reveal surprisingly average craftsmanship, and taken aim at countless other luxury labels. His work isn't just viral entertainment. It's forcing consumers to ask tough questions. What are we really paying for? And more importantly, is it worth it? Let's talk about the factories at the heart of this scandal, because without them, the entire luxury machine falls apart.
4 years of training to be able to manufacture a Kelly bag. This that you've just seen, the perlage, you need to be very skilled.
Names like Sautin handbag in Guangdong province may not ring any bells to the average shopper, but behind the scenes, these factories are titans of global productions. Sautin alone has been making handbags for over 50 years and is responsible for up to 80% of the world's luxury bags. That includes not just Hermès, but also Chanel, Prada, Louis Vuitton, and more. These aren't fly-by-night operations or shady back-alley workshops. We're talking about cutting-edge manufacturing hubs, equipped with state-of-the-art machines, skilled workers, and decades of technical expertise. And here's the wild part. The same factories that produce a $25,000 Birkin are often the same ones making mid-range brands or even high-quality dupes, sometimes on the very same assembly lines. The only thing that separates them is the label stitched on at the end. But what really cracked the story wide open was when these manufacturers started speaking out. Leaked videos, behind-the-scenes footage, and receipts began circulating online, showing just how much of luxury production was outsourced. Workers revealed that entire bags, leather, stitching, hardware, were finished in China before being shipped off to France, where a logo or clasp would be added to legally justify the Made in France claims. Suddenly, the carefully polished image Hermès had spent decades cultivating was starting to unravel, and the public was left wondering, if the bags are nearly identical, are we just paying for a name? So how did Hermès respond when the truth started spilling out? Not with apologies or transparency, but with lawsuits. As soon as the Chinese manufacturers began sharing their side of the story, Hermès went on the attack, filing legal actions for defamation and misuse of intellectual property. On paper, the claims were about protecting brand secrets and designs, but in reality, the lawsuits screamed one message loud and clear: panic.
Put the finishing touches on a Kelly, the most difficult bag to build. It starts with 30 distinct cuts of leather and can take 20 hours to complete.
Think about it. These weren't rogue counterfeiters or knockoff dealers. These were the same factories Hermès had worked with for years, under legal contracts, producing the very bags that built its billion-dollar empire. Yet suddenly, as soon as the manufacturers went public, Hermès pretended they barely knew them, like a scandalized celebrity denying old friends. The contradiction was hard to miss, and consumers noticed. Hermès' legal fury also raised a troubling question. If the brand has nothing to hide, why go nuclear? Why not clarify the production process, explain the role of international factories, or even highlight the craftsmanship wherever it happens? Instead, they chose the scorched earth route, trying to silence the very people who helped make their products in the first place. But lawsuits can't plug every leak. And in the age of TikTok and viral exposés, every attempt to cover things up just makes the story spread faster. And as we'll see next, Hermès isn't just battling factories, they're fighting a celebrity-driven marketing machine they can't control. If you've ever scrolled through Instagram or TikTok and felt a pang of envy watching celebs like Cardi B, Kylie Jenner, or Kim Kardashian flaunt their Hermès bags, you're not alone. But here's the truth. They don't post in the caption. Most of those luxury bags weren't bought. They were gifted, loaned, or part of calculated brand deals. Celebrities are walking billboards, and Hermès knows exactly what it's doing by getting these icons to flash a Birkin on the red carpet or an unboxing on Instagram. But it doesn't stop with A-listers. Influencers, from micro-creators to global stars, have become the new frontline soldiers in the luxury marketing war. Their feeds are packed with unboxing videos, showing off PR packages, gifted handbags, or hauls that create the illusion of effortless luxury. What followers often don't realize is that many of these creators aren't paying for the bags, or in some cases, they're showing off high-quality dupes while tagging the real brand to stay in the trend loop. Insiders whisper that even celebrity stylists sometimes used fakes to maintain the appearance of exclusivity without spending tens of thousands of dollars per look. It's all part of a carefully engineered system that rewards appearance over authenticity. Brands get free marketing, celebs and influencers rake in checks or clout, and the public is left chasing a dream, desperate to own a piece of the luxury illusion. The result? An endless cycle of hype, aspiration, and FOMO, with shoppers dropping life savings on bags that celebrities didn't even pay for. And as we're about to see, that illusion is starting to crack, especially in the resale world. For years, luxury bags weren't just fashion statements. They were investments. A Birkin wasn't just a purse. It was practically a stock, a guaranteed asset that could sell for even more on the resale market. Collectors, investors, and resellers treated these bags like gold, flipping them for profit and watching their value soar. But lately, the cracks are starting to show, and fast, thanks to whistleblowers, factory leaks, and viral videos exposing what's really behind the price tags. Resale prices on Hermès and other luxury bags are slipping. Collectors who once believed they owned rare treasures are suddenly questioning whether their $25,000 handbag is really all that different from a $500 dupe. And it's not just about price. It's about trust. When buyers learn that 80% of a so-called French luxury bag was made in the same Chinese factory as mid-range brands or knockoffs, confidence takes a hit. Even worse for the luxury world, factory extras, near-identical bags made alongside official production runs but without branding, are starting to flood resale channels. These unbranded or lightly modified pieces are often indistinguishable from the real thing, except they sell for a fraction of the price. Resellers are sweating, investors are spooked, and customers are waking up to the possibility that their ultra-exclusive purchases might not be as rare or as valuable as they once thought. And as the illusion fades, people are finally asking, what are we really paying for? And is it worth the price? Here's where the story gets even more uncomfortable. Because it's not just about Hermès or a few rogue factories. This scandal exposes a much bigger truth about the luxury industry. The real product isn't the bag, the shoe, or the coat. It's the story they're selling you. For decades, Western brands have banked on one powerful assumption: made in Europe equals prestige, while made in China equals cheap. But in today's manufacturing world, that belief is completely outdated. Chinese factories are no longer just about mass production and low costs. Many now rival or even surpass European workshops in terms of materials, skill, and precision. In fact, the same factories producing $30,000 designer bags are often making $300 alternatives with near-identical quality. The only thing separating them? Branding, marketing, and the myth of exclusivity. Luxury brands have mastered this game, creating a powerful illusion that taps into human psychology. The need to stand out, belong, and signal success. By stamping "Made in France" or "Made in Italy" on a product, they tap into deep-rooted ideas about heritage and craftsmanship, regardless of where most of the work actually happens. And let's be honest, most customers don't question it. They see the label, they see the celebrity endorsements, and they hand over their credit cards without a second thought. But now, as the truth spreads, that marketing illusion is under attack, and the luxury world is facing a reckoning it can't ignore. The fallout from this scandal isn't just rattling Hermès, it's shaking the entire luxury world. As more whistleblowers step forward and more customers wake up to the truth, luxury brands are scrambling to contain the damage. And Hermès, for all its lawsuits and PR spin, is facing the same terrifying question as its rivals. Can the industry survive when the illusion collapses? It's not just about a few viral TikToks or some angry Reddit threads. It's about trust. Once customers realize that their $20,000 handbag was mostly made in the same factory as a $400 dupe, the magic starts to fade. And when that magic fades, the whole ecosystem, from celebrities to influencers, resellers to collectors, starts to crumble. Suddenly, spending tens of thousands for the privilege of owning a Birkin feels less like a flex and more like a financial mistake. But here's the twist. This crisis also offers luxury brands a rare chance to reinvent themselves. They could choose transparency over secrecy, celebrating global craftsmanship instead of hiding it. They could focus on sustainable practices, ethical supply chains, and genuine quality, rather than playing the old marketing games. Will they take that chance? Or will they double down on lawsuits and denial, trying to keep the illusion alive at any cost? Either way, one thing is clear. The old rules of luxury are breaking. And as Hermès and its peers fight to survive, the rest of us are left wondering, in a world where the truth spreads faster than ever, what does luxury even mean anymore? So here's the million-dollar question, or maybe the $20,000 question. When you splurge on luxury, what are you really buying? Is it the craftsmanship, the materials, the heritage, or just the fantasy? Because at the end of the day, what this Hermès scandal has exposed isn't just a flaw in one brand, but a deep crack running through the entire luxury industry. And now that the illusion is broken, it's forcing all of us to rethink what we value when we chase after those designer logos. Are we paying for a piece of art, the symbol of success? Or just a carefully packaged dream that, once unwrapped, looks a lot like everything else on the shelf? As more people wake up to the truth, the real power shifts back to the consumer. You get to decide. Do you still want to pay top dollar for something that may have come out of the same factory as a mass market bag? Do you care if the logo on your purse reflects centuries of European heritage? Or are you just in it for the look, the status, the social currency? One thing's for sure, the internet never forgets, and the genie is out of the bottle. As Hermès scrambles to file lawsuits and silence the whistleblowers, the conversation has already moved on. To influencers, to celebs, to everyday buyers who are no longer fooled. So next time you find yourself eyeing that luxury tag, ask yourself, are you buying quality or just the illusion? And remember, when the sparkle fades, all that's left is the truth.